blockchain besties, welcome back. We talked about the building blocks of a blockchain in our last video, and you'll be wondering, how do these blocks really agree on things? It's all thanks to a fascinating process called the consensus mechanism. It's the magic behind the chain reaction, and that is what we are going to be talking about today. And I'm sure you may be wondering, consensus mechanism, what does that really mean? Now, I want you to imagine millions of computers around the world all connected to the same giant digital playground called the blockchain. Remember I told you the last time that new blocks are usually added to the previous one. So how do they all decide which new blocks get added to the chain and becomes official? That is where the consensus mechanism comes in. They are like the game rules that make sure that everyone follows the script and the network stays secure. Right? So today we're going to look at two types of consensus mechanism, and the first is called the proof of work, the OG miner. It's called the original gangster because it's the first and most established consensus mechanism. Now, how does it really work, right? So imagine a giant mass competition, right? Special computers called the miners are here for this competition to compete to solve complex puzzles. The first miner to solve the puzzles get to add the new block to the chain and earn some cryptocurrencies as a reward. Sounds simple, right? But then it has its pros and cons, and the pros being that it is highly secured, it is decentralized and resistant to tampering, right? And the cons being that it uses a whole lot of energy and slows the transaction processes, right? Now, the second one is another consensus mechanism that came about called the proof of stake, also known as the green alternative. So instead of solving complex puzzles, validators are being chosen based on their skin in the game, meaning the more cryptocurrencies they hold, the higher the chance they have of validating a block. So think of it like having more votes because you have invested more in the system. And the pros being that is more energy efficient, faster transaction processing, and fairer distribution of rewards. And the cons being that just because someone has lots of cryptocurrencies, they could potentially have more influence on the network, which may not be ideal, right? So proof of work, proof of stake are just two of the many consensus mechanisms out there. Each one has its own strengths and weaknesses, but the type of mechanism a blockchain uses depends on its specific needs of the project. It could be prioritizing security, speed, or just even being environmentally friendly, right? So basically, what the consensus mechanism does is to, one, ensure the integrity and security of the blockchain network. Two is to determine how quickly and efficiently transactions are processed. And three, it influences the distribution of rewards and power within the network. Interesting, right? Yeah. So in our next video, we're going to explore another interesting concept. So I want you to hit the subscribe button, stay tuned, and keep learning. Who knows? You might even invent the next game-changing consensus mechanism, right? See you next time.